Hello there, Dick Benedict here. We're playing Conan on King difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty that the game offers. And we are currently going to be starting Chapter 8 now, which is entitled Outpost. So it's a really interesting level outside of this fort that we're going to be going into after we deal with these guys over here. So I believe what I accidentally did on that particular riposte was I pressed the wrong button. And I believe that's why he didn't do the riposte. So I told you what the Stygian Sewer was. Square, square, triangle with this weapon. Or I should say the two-handed weapon stance. Even though, is that really a stance? I don't know if that would be called a stance, but no, it's not a stance. It's just a different sort of a weapon that you brandish. So these guys we saw a lot of in the last chapter. We'll see them more in this chapter. We'll see some heavies. We'll see birds actually for the first time. The spin move that I did there is square, square, triangle, triangle, hold. So if you don't want to do the spin, if you don't have any enemies around you, it's not really something that you should do. It wastes time and it's not anything that needs to be done. I mean, it's supposed to deal area damage to people. And it works, I would say, decently. It's not that huge of a thing to do, but it is necessary to buy it because every move is pretty much a prerequisite for something else. So we're going to throw this at him and see if we can just work on this bastard a little bit. Even though I'm trying to clean up my language, I do apologize if it's off-putting. I'm sorry about that. So I do want to mention that I don't just swear and not think about it, but okay, so here are some jars to smash. It's not going to be an easy process. This is a boss fight over here with the jars, so it's pretty tough actually because you can barely hit fucking barely hit them. But we are going to be going down this pier and getting a treasure chest with experience orbs. And we are going to be running into some birds and a lot of these sand dwellers over here. And we're going to see the birds over here. And I don't know exactly what they are. They have some sort of a little white sort of afro thing to them, and they're lizards. And I don't mean that in any racist way. I can't describe it in any other way. And it looks like there's some sort of a lizard. And I believe this is the first time that I've ever got this quick time event to work because I always lose my patience on these enemies. I find them extremely dull and boring, and I've just never stuck around to do the QTE. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to just let this guy do his QTE attack. So if you see a question mark on these guys, you know what that means. It means that you're out of range. So just approach the enemy, and that question mark should turn to a circle, and then you're going to be pressing a quick time event, and I think it's going to be flashing you any one of the four face buttons. I don't know if it's a certain one every time because this is the first time that I had it. So we'll see what it is. You should be able to just knock these guys off with square triangle as well, guys. There it is. So you press circle, and then, oh, there's nothing else to it. I'm sorry, guys. All it is press circle. So if you press circle when you're in range, you should be able to have the character grab that thing and instantly kill it. Now, in God of War, all you would do is press circle and it would grab it. There wouldn't be any nonsense of waiting for it to do a quick time event like that. But this game isn't God of War. I don't expect it to be God of War. I mean, I think some people might if they're going to say, well, you fucking copied the game, so it better be at least something decent, right? But it's not that great. I mean, I think it's still decent. But see how I'm knocking these guys off with square triangle? That should do the trick, and if it doesn't, they're going to get knocked down, and then you can just execute them, and hopefully there isn't anybody around trying to interrupt you, as often happens. And I don't know where these guys actually came from. There's a fire going down here, too, as well. Did you see that fire that we passed when we came into this area? Because I didn't know what that was all about. You know, you can pull out some wood from it and burn some stuff, but there's nothing to burn over here. There's no tents or anything like that. There aren't any tents. I'm sorry, guys. Come into here. I do believe that they checkpointed for you. And we have 3 red rune triumphants over here. Now, the third one is not in plain sight like the 2 that are out here. A couple more health jars out here. And the game is kind of hiding the location of the red rune triumphant. So what it is basically, and it's not that much of a, it's obvious kind of. It's going to be in the storeroom over here, this little closet area. However, what do you think is going to be waiting in there for you? A heavy? You might be right if you thought that. And you should also be able to hit these guys into the spikes that are amidst these rocks over here too. So anybody left? Yeah, a little frame rate issue there. Did you see that? That doesn't happen too much, even when there's a whole bunch of guys around. So you got to give it to the game for not falling apart at that point. There we go. Just knock him down. And the door won't be accessible unless you've killed everybody out here. So, okay. It might just open of its own accord as it did right there. So prepare to blast these guys because there's a heavy. I just don't like fighting the heavies, guys. Could I beat them without magic? I could, because all you have to do is just evade their attacks. I mean, if you can't parry their attacks and they have guard-breaking moves that stagger you with multi-hits so that the first one's blockable, but you can't evade when the second one's coming, so what's the point of standing there blocking when you know that you can't do anything when you're getting stun locked and the second hit is going to hit you no matter what and you can't evade it? It's kind of pointless to just stand there and block when you know that's coming, right? So all you have to do is just dodge and use heavy attacks and just wait for his guard to break or his shield to get broken. That's all you would have to really do. Preferably, you would want to use the two-handed weapon. Like, we're in kind of a disadvantage using the dual wields here, simply because it's the weakest moveset of all. So it's going to give us a really hard time in breaking that guy's guard, but we could still probably do it. And if it didn't work, we could just discard one of the weapons we have now and then just use the regular sword. It would probably do the job. And we could just pick up this. So there's a lot of options. A lot of options. Anyway, so a little bit more health right over here. And then here's the storeroom. And this should give us another rage extension. Any whores in here? I don't think so. I think there's going to be one coming up. Yeah, there's one by the save stone. Okay. We've got that. We've got a rack of battle axes. I don't really like the battle axes because they remind me of Bone Cleaver boss fight 2. So you'll see those weapons plenty on that boss fight, guys. It's going to be the most boring thing ever. Okay, there's the first one that we hit, and then here's another one right over here below that banner that's flapping in the wind, and then there's going to be one over here by the stone column. Don't knock this stone column down because it will fall. It's really badly designed, because if you knock this stone column down, it falls right on top of this rune triumphant, so you can't interact with it. I've tried to interact with it, you can't. So it's a badly placed thing there. So come up here, and there's going to be a whole bunch of birds up here. This could have been a cool area to have those those desert dwellers. I think it would be a good area to fight these. But these things are lame, and all I basically do is just use triangle attacks on them and just be really evasive here, and it should work pretty well to dispatch all these guys. So I still feel badly about not knowing, because it just highlights my own ignorance, and I hate it. Because the person who's doing a guide, and I'm talking about not knowing what those red rune triumphants are for, it can go ahead and be a channel meme if it wants to at this point. I don't care. I hate not knowing about stuff. It just makes me feel bad. I feel like I'm letting people down. And I feel embarrassed as well. So I was going to just restart the entire guide, just delete the videos and start over with more knowledge. I still might, because when this game is done, I'll not have anything to play and I'll be pretty empty. And that's kind of weird, because I thought I was just going to send this fucking game back quick, because it's something that you have to really give a lot of patience to. It's especially me. I mean, you've got to give me at least some credit for tolerating something like this after playing all of the God of Wars and the really top, like, Devil May Cry games that are so precise, and like with God of War, just the ultimate in precision pretty much. To tolerate a game like this, I think it speaks more for the person who can tolerate it than for the actual game. But also, just don't... this is also over here too, as well as some birds. And as much as I'm tolerant and patient, guys, I'm just going to flee from this fight. I mean, if there wasn't anything to prevent these guys from getting... I mean, how am I supposed to fucking hit them? Yeah, I can throw something at them, but I only have one thing to throw at them. Like, they're being coy and evasive, and, like, it's just ridiculous. I don't have much range. I can't hit them if they're over precipices like that and shit like that. But anyway, there's a few guys out here, and then there's a door to smash to the left. And this fight and the next fight can be completely skipped. So don't do that, though, of course. You want to go into this storeroom over here and get the save stone and get the whore all rescued and calm her ass down and just, save your fucking progress. And yeah, I am trying to watch my language. It is a gradual process, though, guys, so I'm sorry about that. Just smash the door. How many times does it take? One time? Good. Okay, so we've got a lot to do left. There's the horse sticking her ass out, and then she's all of a sudden gone. So we're going to be making our way to the innards of this fortress over here, and the route that we need to take is down this bridge. Of course, they have some enemies over here to greet you. There's 4 of these guys to deal with. So what I like to do is use the dual weapon class and press square triangle to try to knock them off the bridge. And sometimes you can hit them into the spikes if you have a bit of fortune going for you. Failing that, though, just knock them down and then execute them real quick. And so you're going to roll up to these guys. Here we go. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. But when you go up to that second group, the heavy is going to start walking towards you with all of the smaller enemies over here. And if the archers are annoying you with their arrows, simply move to the left as much as you can and just make sure they're not on the screen anywhere, and then they'll stop firing the arrows at you. And I'm almost certain that you can skip every fight that's coming up, leading up to the boss fight. I'm almost positive that there's not a single mandatory fight to do. So since I have not yet showed you guys how we're going to deal with the heavy over here, I've told you, but I don't think I've showed it to you. I think every heavy that we've had, we've stone shattered him. And I am going to use the stone prison armor over here, but it's only going to be to kill everybody except for that heavy. Because I want to make sure that nobody's around here so that I can actually show you guys how to deal with the heavies. And it's not a big secret whatsoever. Even though I'm hitting this guy, I'm still going to make sure that we can demonstrate this properly. And you saw right there what he did. He did a fire spit attack, and you'll often see him do that because it's one of his primary moves. But all you need to do is simply press triangle, triangle, triangle with either this weapon or with the one-handed weapon. The dual-handed weapon class is not strong enough to break his guard. So if you have that weapon class, you're not out of luck, because all you need to do is just press R2 to discard your extra weapon, and then instantly you've got the single class going for you. And I was correct in asserting my belief that you can parry this guy when he loses his body armor, and sure enough, you can. And we just did, and he's finished. So you're going to roll back into this place if you want to grab all the health, if you have any health. There's a rack of battle axes over here, but I think I'm going to wield this weapon for now. So I'm going to fill up with the magic. We will be getting another square of MP, so we will have 4 squares. And again, just do whatever fights you're comfortable with. I would recommend doing, make sure that you don't skip too many fights so you can get as many experience orbs as you can. But here's the next fight. We've got a bunch of the sand dwellers in here. We've got these cabinets here which can be thrown. They don't have any HP in them, but the vases do. Or I'm not... HP is the wrong terminology. It's health, not HP, because HP is hit points. So I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to be as technically correct as I can. Here's a jar of health for us. And so the majority of the fights on this chapter are going to be with these guys and heavies. So you should be pretty comfortable fighting these guys right now. The heavies I know are a bit newer than these guys, so it's understandable if you're having issues with the heavies. There's MP coming up for an upgrade, so you should be able to use the stone prison armor as much as you can on those guys. And I would recommend having I think the dual weapon class is a good choice for the boss. Coming up, the Sorceress Queen is going to be the boss of this chapter. There's a couple more guys in here. That move is a really good move to knock them down, and then you can just go up to them and execute them. I'm dazed over here, so the controls are probably going to screw with me. I probably didn't get that parry because my controls, like I said, were screwing with me, so it wasn't doing what I pressed. Probably it does just weird things on you, random things. I don't like, yeah. I'm not, see when I jumped a couple seconds ago, I didn't press jump. I think I was blocking and it just jumped when I pressed block or something like that. Really weird. Okay, so that fight's all finished up. Make sure that you smash all the jars. There's some more jars over here in this room, and there's a room over to the right which is optional, and which contains a heavy, an experience orb chest, a bunch of health jars, and that whore that we just rescued. Yeah, so if he will just come over here. I'm trying to have him come over here because the room, it seems like it's his territory, so I don't, I don't want to, it's just not enough room in there, so. Okay, so it's a simple matter of pressing triangle to break his guard. Wait for it. No, I thought the guy was going to slam the door, the neighbor. Just triangle. He's almost got his body armor completely broken. You can't parry him at this point, but once he loses his shield, you can start your attempts to get the parry on him. See, you can parry him and it gives you that little flash that signifies the game is going to give you the riposte window with the QTE, but that never comes unless you parry him when he has his body armor off. So, and the whore is gone. They don't stay too long. The game usually cleans them up really fast and just gets them out of the way. So remember, smash those jars, get that chest of experience orbs, and we'll move on to the next fight. I did buy a move for like 1,000 orbs called something Mitra, M-I-R-T-R-A. I think that's what it's called. It's called something like Mitra's something, or something of Mitra. And I don't know the button combination, but it's a pretty good move. I kind of like it. It knocks down the heavies. I don't think it does that much damage. It might. But I think it's and I can't look right now because there's so many moves. It's hard to remember them. But it should be triangle, square, I think is what it is. I think that is actually what it is. Here's the next area. I don't know if there's a heavy in here. There it is. Mitra's hand. Oh, it says it? I forgot that it said it. That's cool. Triangle, square. Yeah, that's what it is. It should be triangle, square. So, yeah, there is a heavy in here. And some of these guys don't give you a break sometimes when you're trying to hit them. Like, it's kind of a war sometimes just to get in a single hit on these guys. They're fast. Like, I'm about ready to give up sometimes because I can't get in a hit. It's kind of annoying. Plenty of jars over here, guys. Just plenty of stuff. And again, you can lure all these guys away from the door and then go back and just open the door without fighting them if you want to. Here's the heavy doing his little fire spit, and we're going to try to just break his guard and just roll away because it's not really beneficial to just stand there and block when he breaks your guard and it doesn't allow you to dodge away from him. And I think we're going to try to use Mitra's Hand on this guy if we can. Yeah. Yeah, I probably did parry him. There we go. Steps of Hell. That is just, it's really gory. Okay, so just smash everything over here and just replenish any life that you've lost. We're going to see another room that's very similar to this one coming up. I think after this fight. Okay, one guy left over here. There might be something over here. We'll have to double check, but you can smash all of these jars too. So we should be going into the next area with full health. Okay, yeah, I don't even care about it. If it's not going to let me hit it, I'm sick of it then. Yeah, nothing over here. Although that chair gave out some magic. That's interesting. Okay, there we go. Now we're filled up, finally. Although we were filled up before, weren't we? Okay. There's a whore right next to the door. I never saw those cages with the skeletons in them. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm not fucking editing that out. There you go. I mean, fuck. There's also another whore over here. She's gone, so... Why weren't you gone a couple seconds ago? Not to edit the fucking video out, man. Shit. Die, you cur. Okay. Stygian Sewer. Finished up. Okay. This next room should be the one that I was talking about that's really similar to the one we were just in. There's the heavy waiting for us. So, okay, Mitra's Hand knocked him over. And I think he lost... Did he lose body? No, he didn't lose any body armor, but I think he's ready to lose some. Okay, the pile driver, and then this should be a backbreaker. I think what it is that sometimes they just don't let the enemy get killed on you when you do either of those two moves that we just did. And you've got to execute them. So I don't think there's any mystery about it. I think just sometimes they don't instantly kill them. So I'm trying to deal with this camera, which isn't really helping me right now. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get in a hit on these guys. Trying to make some improvements to my workstation as well. I often work at night, so I'm trying to get a computer that has lights on it. Not really a gaming keyboard because I don't do gaming really on I mean I play games on my I don't remember the last game I think I bought Gears of War. Yeah, that was Gears of War, but like I don't play like I don't game using a keyboard, you know. I just don't do that. So I'm also trying to get a little bit more of a precise mouse because the mouse I have is just really imprecise. This guy's on fire, actually. Okay, he should be getting damaged. I think this is going to end up with him just falling over because he's going to die. Yeah. Okay, so just go around the room, smash all the jars, There's some health up here coming up, and we've got a fight with just some more of those guys in the next area. 2 heavies at the same time. And I'm going to show you, since we're going to get an MP upgrade, I'm going to show you how to do a combo. It's nothing special or anything even hardly worth talking about, but I'll show you a quick combo that you can do. Over here. So what you do is you use the stone prison armor to petrify as many guys as you possibly can, and then to quickly kill them, you can switch to the one with the meteors and the asteroids to kill guys, just to help you out and quickly kill guys. So I'm gonna just use this and then cast the oh, it's called the Rain of Fire. Okay, it's called the Rain of Fire. See that circle that you're in? The game leads you to believe that there's some sort of a safe zone inside that circle, and there might even be. But when I venture out of that safe zone, as the game calls it, I don't think I've ever seen my character getting damaged. So that's just what I inferred from what it said in the loading screen. It just said don't stray from your safe zone. So, I mean, I don't really know what that means. So look how easy these ones are. They're not even hidden whatsoever. There's 3 of these ones. So now you should have 4 squares of MP. And it also refills you too, which it should. And that's why I did that combo, that it just expended 3 bars of MP. That's why. And I've also skipped the fight that we just did. I skipped it when I played this game before to unlock this difficulty. So I can confirm that it's skippable. I fell about 5 times on that jump too, really annoying. And then here's the next save stone, and this is the final save stone of the chapter. There's going to be a couple of lizard birds to fight, and another whore to rescue, an experience chest to pick up, and then we'll be ascending a bunch of stairs to get to the boss fight. So, you know, just choose whatever you want to do here. You can use this. I'm going to use this and expend 1 square of MP because I know that I just passed up a jar of MP refill. So I'm going to try to smash that. It wasn't successful, but these guys are a little out of range. And I usually don't like to stick around long enough to wait for them to do that circle quick time event. So I'm just going to use heavy strikes and, you know, just quick attacks to dispatch him real quick. And then I don't think I found this chest when I first played. There's a chest over there to the right, as well as a whore just sitting over there. Sitting and shitting. There she is. Not badly hidden. There you go. Just take your loot and run. There was also a health jar next to her, but I didn't get it. There's one here, though. Let's completely fill our MP. I think those jars give you 1 square. I'll have to check, though, on that. Sorry, I don't know for sure what they do, but... Okay, here's the next fight, right over here. A bunch of these guys. If you want to, you can just go all the way up the stairs and not fight anybody here. I just don't like doing that, though. And it's jumping. Okay, yeah, I don't like that. See, it tried to grab. See what happened? I was dazed and I tried to grab him, but I didn't mean to do that. I was probably just trying to block, and it just had me grab because the game completely just changes your controls when you're like that. I'm also going to get some sort of a suplex move coming up, and I don't know what the button combination is. It might just be triangle square. It's a pretty cool move. I've never seen it actually until now. I'm sorry I can't like reel off all the combos by memory, guys. That's cool. There's also an experience chest there. So I can't reel off everything to you guys, but I would encourage you to just have a look around. I'm trying to do that a little bit more when I play. Just, you know, try to be a little bit more observant, try to be a little bit more open-mindedness to trying and the willingness to learn. So the checkpoint on the boss is it's not that bad. It's a little bit better than I thought it was. But before you start fighting the sorceress, you have to take care of a set of these guys, and there's about 8 of them. And I think there's a temptation you might have to immediately just cast the magic to clear them up, but you'll have to fight them when she's up on the her throne in sort of a like she's going to be firing projectiles at you, if memory serves. I haven't quite gotten to that phase, but I remember what it was. So I would just hold off on using the magic for right now. Watch this. This should... Oh, no. Okay, all the loading screen says about this particular move is that when it says when you fight well, you build this up. I don't know what that means. It's just too vague to know. But when you come up here, you're going to be tapping the circle button to move this, and then guess what's waiting for you over here? One of the heavies with somebody else. So I'm just going to kill the lesser enemy, and then leave the heavy on the map, because if I fall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave him on the map, since I need to have somebody left on the map to kill me if I fall on the jumps coming up after I respawn from dying on a checkpoint up here. So I'll show you where the checkpoint exists right before the boss. So what happens is, if he fails the jump for some reason and I land down here, I would just like him to kill me rather than trying to do these jumps, because they're really hard to get to work. Okay guys, remember what I said earlier in the video about holding off on using the Rain of Fire on phase 1 of this boss fight up here? Even though technically I wouldn't consider it a phase of the boss fight, but it's something that you have to do before you start fighting the boss. And if you die in this phase, you're going to be down beneath the scaffolding. So I still would perhaps caution you against using the Rain of Fire there. But I think it's okay to use if you've got 4 scores of magic, simply because if you just normally use your combat here, you're likely to get hit many times over by those enemies. So this is where you still, I don't think you get a checkpoint here, no, you don't get a checkpoint quite yet. But what you can do here, do you see the boxes on top? See the box there? That I don't know what you would call that, but there's 2 on either side of that throne that she was standing on, if it is a throne. If you throw those at her, you will deal like half of her HP off. And since I knew that, I decided not to throw those until the next time we face her like this. But all you need to do is just go around the room and throw the jars at her at first to deal pretty much free damage. And then on this phase, we're going to be repeating it. But here is where you actually do get a checkpoint. And this is a really simple phase. All you've got to do is use the backbreaker and pile driver on this guy, and you could stand right beneath her and she won't hit you. Now the only ridiculous phase of this boss fight is when you're doing this again and she can hit you from down here even when you're standing under here. So that doesn't happen here, but it will the next time you do this type of scenario again. So just kill everybody, and then she's going to come down, and then we're going to basically repeat the process. And you're going to see the extreme amount of damage that you can deal her with throwing stuff. I think you may have already seen it. I kind of saved those chests up there for trump cards, as it were. But I think on phase 2 of the boss fight, those chests don't deal as much damage. But I'm going to try to see how much I can get her damaged. But basically what you want to do is just stand next to her and block when she's doing that that shove attack, which she should do right there. So block that, and then when she does that, jump, and you won't get hit. And then you can do 2 to 3 to maybe even 4 hits of the triangle button. 4 is stretching it, but this deals a lot of damage, and all you've got to do is just block that one, jump over this, and just hit her when her face is right there. She doesn't hit you like that, and then you can just keep chopping at her. And then you could refill your health here. It's the next part that's ridiculous. I don't know how you are expected to do this without magic, because it's really hard to stay alive here, and I'll tell you why. It's because the damage seems to go up here just inordinately high. I have no idea why she can damage you so much, and from a point of your placement on this map, that it doesn't make any sense. She should not be able to hit you beneath that throne part. And as you can see, she also does an AoE on this phase. So just, you know, when you see that coming, just make sure you hold tight for a second on the ground and jump towards her, and just jump over the shockwave. And she should be getting killed pretty soon. It's a pretty simple fight, but this phase over here that's coming up is absolutely ridiculous. Fortunately, they checkpoint it, so in case you're curious about that, but those loading screens don't make it any better. So we should be finishing her up here, and then this is the bullshit part. So I would say that using the Rain of Fire twice here would pretty much make you not suffer hardly at all here. But the nonsense about this is that she can hit you from down here, so there's really nowhere that's safe over here. So what I did is I used the stone armor, and then I used the Rain of Fire. I think it's still a valid choice, because honestly, that first fight is really annoying, and then you've got to watch a cutscene that you can't skip, which is about a minute in length. It's pretty shitty. So fortunately, they also checkpointed after this as well. So you may have seen how much damage I was getting dealt, although it wasn't too bad. And then you're in this tar trap down here, and obviously she's got the question mark over her, so you have to jump over the rocks. I was trying to walk around it because it looks like you can, but you've got to actually jump over it, and then spam press circle when you're close to her, and then start doing the quick time events here to finish her off. There's quite a bit of them, and they also checkpointed on this phase too. So anyway, yeah, that's been Chapter 8, The Outpost. Take care.